The first thing to acknowledge about Black feminism is that it isn't really one feminism at all. The S in Black Feminisms invites Black women to express and create their own representations of themselves. This may be through theory, but it can also be expressed through the visual imaginary. Art can do the work of making theory accessible to not only its audience, but its creators. Treating feminisms as a collective rather than a singular idea promotes exploration and expression of the self, rather than simplification of the self and reproduction of hegemonic narratives and representations. Using the creative imaginary to build new Herstories, Vanessa Danso creates a visual animation to tell the story of Nanaya Asantua and the Golden Stool. Her artistic rendition of a story that's told historically through a colonial point of view not only makes the story more accessible through visuals, it is a perfect example of how the positionality of an author has a great impact on the way history is told. Black feminist retellings of her stories rather than histories challenged the hegemonic narratives of Africa and women of Africa. Just as the positionalities of women of the African diaspora differ, so should their representations. Black feminisms illuminate the notion that hegemonic colonial white supremacist narratives close off and limit our understanding of our past, present, and future. The framework of history and how we remember it is molded by those with the privilege to tell and retell those stories. That is why it is so important for Black storytellers to share their truths and represent themselves.
But I know what it's like to be in control of your narrative. There's a power in it. At the center of the histories that I was recalling, representing, and remembering was me. Me. Me, the Black African woman who's often seen as either a victim or a statistic. Me, the European citizenship-seeking, strangely named other. Me. And I was writing the shit out of that history. Now, the second thing that happens when you write yourself into history is that you begin to dispel the myths that are told about you.
Black women creating content of themselves leads by example that there is freedom in creating one's own images. Images and representations are always changing, and Black women have always been on the forefront of social change. New media allows for more accessibility, more opportunity to create and share one's voice. Throughout history, Black women feminists have always utilized whatever media tools at their disposal to spread their work, and in doing so have led to this generation of Black women's consciousness-raising political work and activism, as well as artistry. The more stories told by Black women for Black women, and the more those stories become publicly accessible, the greater the repertoire for future Black feminists to constitute their perceptions and representations of themselves and their history. Black feminisms are not just important to Black women or people of the African diaspora. The concepts they teach are important for all that seek freedom. They teach us that we possess the tools to free ourselves from hegemonic systems that rely on constituted notions of difference in order to divide and control. By respecting, elevating, and building off of each other's voices, internationally and intergenerationally, Black feminists have taken a diachronic approach to reconstitute their own histories through investigative art and creative expression.